Hello, everyone. So during today's Founder University education series, we'll be covering customer relationship management. Customer relationship management will look a little different for each business, depending on if you're offering a product or a service, if it's tech or not, and even what that product is. It will look different for somebody that's offering a product when it comes to tech, or a product that's, say, a doll that you're buying from a store. Um, as customers or as customer relationships have evolved, you have probably started hearing new terms like customer success, customer support, customer service, customer experience, customer engagement. I'm going to do my best to cover most of them during this session so you can help better understand how to build that support and that relationship with your customer specifically. Customer what? Understanding your customer and the relationship. Like I said, there has been all these new terms and ways of, managing your customer relationship that may get a little confusing because it's like over the last 10 to 20 years, you started to see all these new ways to manage those relationships. What is customer service? Before I get into this, this is one of those customer relationship management methods that I absolutely think every business should have. Customer service is your standard and should be across every service or business. Now let's jump into the slide. Customer service is the support you offer your customer from the moment they first contact your business to the months and years afterward. Providing good customer service means being a reliable partner to your customers and going beyond helping them troubleshoot, use, and make informed decisions about your product. Customer service is an umbrella term for all interactions that enhance customer experience and help improve their relationship with the company. Customer support is just one type of interaction. Benefits of great customer service. Customer service is the foundation on which you build a home for your buyers. Great customer service boosts business, reduces churn, and enhances the customer experience. Our CX trends report revealed that high quality customer service can drive business performance, stimulates your business growth, and improves your customer retention. What is customer support? Customer support is the team of people who provide help when the customer has trouble with the company's product or services. It's ultimately about making sure your customers are successful in solving whatever issues they come to your business to help solve. Customer support was always important, and to be honest with you, will always be important. And I'm just going to pause here for a second. Again, this is one of those things that I feel every company should have some form of. Customer support, is something that will help not only grow your business and build that relationship with your customer, but it's something that can be used for product, services, tech, non-tech. If you have a customer, this should be a part of your operations. Okay. But it's now a different key differentiator between companies, a top consideration for customers and a profit-generating force in its own right, whether you're a well-established firm or just starting to scale and grow. A successful customer support team can help attract new business, boost retention, and increase sales amongst your existing customer base. Customer support also isn't just about finding a quick solution to any one customer problem anymore. It's about building a long-term relationship, one where each customer interaction offers opportunities for deeper, more valuable engagement. Ask yourself, what do customer expectations for support look like in your particular industry? These will benefit in these will be different in e-commerce or travel compared to insurance or banking, for example. How can customer support help elevate the voice of the customer throughout your business? How can you involve your customer support team in key business decisions like product roadmap or marketing strategy? What is customer success? Customer success is a business method that uses your product or service to help customers achieve their objectives. In relationship-focused client management that aligns your customer with your company's goals, igniting beneficial outcomes for everyone involved. Ultimately, effective customer success strategies create less customer churn, lower acquisition costs, and create more upsell opportunities. I'm just going to pause here for a second. So customer success is probably more beneficial for, say, somebody with a SaaS product, one that, will have a continuous long-term relationship with that customer. and help really understand what their business model is. And as you know, you're building your customer success, also understand what other services can you offer in the future to help improve their business. Okay, back to the slide. Why do businesses need customer success? As competition increases and more companies rely on recurring revenue models, customer success has become a massive growth driver. In fact, according to North Highland study, 80% of leaders now say customer experience is their main growth engine. Customer success is often confused with two separate initiatives, customer service and account management. Customer success goes miles beyond account management. Rather than focusing on problems, it seeks opportunities and solutions proactively by collecting and leveraging as many data points as possible about the customer. What's more, customer success informs strategy. It helps businesses better understand the customer experience and lifecycle so they can improve on it. On top of all of that, customer success team members focus on the customer and how that customer can succeed, opposed to only focusing on how the company can succeed. It's a mindset shift that sparks big rewards for everyone. What is customer experience? Customer experience is all the interactions customers have with your company at all stages of the customer journey, even if it doesn't result in a purchase. It focuses on relationships between a business and its customer. Whether it's a call to customer service, observing an ad, or something as simple as paying a bill. Every exchange between a customer and business builds or damages the relationship. Most importantly, customer experience is how customers view those experiences collectively. Just to pause for a second from the slide again. Now, understanding customer experience could be something from, navigating your website. What was a customer's experience from, the moment of selecting the product, finding the product that they want, adding that product that they want into their cart, accessing that cart, and then all the way through making the payment and checking that cart out. So keep in mind, it's not just about a phone call. Customer experience includes everything from what their online interaction is going to look like to what, customer support will look like. Okay, to the slide. How customers feel about your brand is tied to customer retention, lifetime value, and brand loyalty. Think about it. If you've built relationships with your buyers through great CX, they'll likely come back again and again. 81% of customers say a positive customer service experience increases the likelihood they'll make another purchase. Attracting and retaining customers in an ultra-competitive business environment isn't easy, but it's worth the time and effort. Companies that ignore the importance of providing a seamless, effective customer experience can end up losing businesses to their competitors, or end up losing business to their competitors, sorry. The benefits of delivering a great customer experience include improved customer retention, increased customer lifetime value, stronger brand loyalty, brand reputability, more competitive advantage. What is customer engagement? Customer engagement is the emotional connection between a customer and a brand. Broadly speaking, customer engagement, CE, or customer brand engagement, CBE, encompasses the customer's relationship with the business. For most companies, an exploration of the topic will also involve trying to understand how customer engagement relates to the success of the business in terms of sales, loyalty, and whether the customer is a detractor or a promoter of the brand. Please remember that the detractor and promoter, we're actually going to come back to that later in this session. Highly engaged customers buy more, promote more, and demonstrate more loyalty. Providing a high quality customer experience is an important component of your customer engagement strategy. Dimensions of customer engagement include longevity, proactiveness, repetition and frequency, context, and volume. Okay, so now that we kind of understand what the different customer relationship solutions are, hopefully you have a better understanding of how to support your customer and how to create that relationship depending on what your specific business is. But what's next? So what's really next is engaging with your customer. CRM software. So a CRM tool is something like Salesforce or HubSpot. Let me start out there. It's a tool that's focused on helping you really enhance and understand your customer and build that relationship and build history behind that relationship. Okay, I'm just going to jump right into this slide. What does a CRM system do? CRM software maintains and manages data obtained from multiple sources and touch points, including email, a company website, sales rep, data entry, live chat, telephone and social media, etc. It's a database that stores customer-specific details like buying history, specific wants and needs, purchasing preferences, and financial demographics, thereby creating a holistic view of the customer and promoting more engaging and consistent interactions. 6 benefits of a CRM: collaborate through interaction, manage pipeline effectively, automate for maximum productivity, engage to build lasting customer relationships, improve customer experience, and increase revenues. So the other great thing about having a CRM is you can also send out surveys to your customers to understand if they're happy with you as a company or your company with your employees, and if they're happy with their interactions, specifically the interaction they probably just had. So what is CSAT and how do you measure? CSAT, or customer satisfaction score, is a metric that indicates how satisfied customers are with the company's products or services. It's measured through customer feedback and expressed as a percentage, 100% being fantastic, 0% being terrible. CSAT is measured through customer feedback. This is gathered via one or more variations of this question. Example of the question: how would you rate your overall satisfaction with the goods, services you receive? Respondents use the following scale, which is 1 to 5. 1, very unsatisfied. 2, unsatisfied. 3, neutral. 4, satisfied. 5, very satisfied. Just a few tips here. If you are going to do a CSAT, I highly recommend it. A CSAT can help you in a few different ways. It can not only help you understand, how the customer feels about you, your good, or your product, but also how that specific employee has handled that interaction with the customer. So CSAT can also be used as a performance measure for employees. Quick tip: I would try to keep it between 3 to 5 questions. If customers have to invest more than a few minutes into answering questions, the likelihood of them completing that satisfaction survey is very, very low. Keep it simple, keep it specific. In the past, I've used things like, were you satisfied with the interaction? Were all your questions answered? How do you feel about your overall experience today? And how did you feel about, did you feel your representative was knowledgeable, if, there was somebody that they just spoke to? So again, keep it 4 to 5 questions, very specific, and not more than, 2 to 3 minutes of their time. What is NPS and how do you measure? So earlier in one of the slides, I asked you to keep, or just remember, because we're going to come back to it, detractors and promoters. And this is what I meant by that. So NPS stands for Net Promoter Score, which is a metric used in customer experience programs. NPS measures the loyalty of customers to a company. NPS scores are measured with a single question survey and reported with a number ranged from -100 to +100. A higher score is desirable. NPS is an indicator that provides an overall metric to track, and it allows you to monitor improvements in a product, service, or organization. It's simple to calculate. Your final NPS score, just subtract the percentage of detractors from the percentage of promoters. For example, if 10% of respondents are detractors, 20% are passives, and 70% are promoters, your NPS score would be 70 minus 10, which is 60. There's a quick explanation of, some of the detractors, passives, and promoters underneath this in an image. But an NPS score really helps you determine whether or not that customer really likes your product or service. Normally, it's a question that's something like, would you recommend this product or service to friends or family, or would you recommend this product or service, just point blank? Of course, you can do a little bit more research behind different surveys that are customer focused when it comes to customer relationship and support and service, or your product and service itself, or service itself. these are just two, but if you do a quick Google search, you'll see a lot of different examples of some really, really good surveys that you can give your customer to make sure that you are doing the best job that you can, not only, for your customer, but to also help increase your own revenues. This is all I have for today. I hope I helped understand what customer operations looks like, and maybe what works best for your company. Thank you for joining.
Our next speaker, Lauren Besso. We are excited to hear you today, Lauren. And you're going to be talking about strategies and processes for creating and implementing effective employment policies.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, thank you for having me. I am Lauren Besso. I am the VP of Client Services over at the Applied Companies. We are an HR outsourcing company. So we help small to medium-sized companies with their HR so they can, focus on their core business while growing compliantly. So that is who we are. Today, we're going to talk through how to really set up a strong and compliant foundation so you guys are ready to grow. So we'll talk through the importance of job descriptions, make sure everyone understands the difference between exempt and non-exempt roles. We'll talk about creating an employee handbook and how to really do that to make sure that the culture of your company is truly reflected. Specifically, we'll talk through a couple policies. We wanted to talk about diversity and some anti-harassment policies, and then we'll go through some federal and state compliance requirements, and then we'll talk about some resources that you guys have as well. All right, so job descriptions. So having a defined job description might not seem necessary when you only have a couple of employees, but it really is important that you have each job very clearly defined, so you have good foundations for when you're ready to continue to add employees. So job descriptions are a really good resource for both candidates and for existing employees. They're not just used in the hiring process, they're actually used through the entire life cycle of the employee. So if you have employees that are currently in a role that doesn't have a clear job description, you can actually ask them to partner with you and to create the job descriptions together. That can be a really good way to make sure that all the aspects of the job are truly reflected. So, if somebody, I have to have a performance conversation or they're just not really meeting the expectations of the role, that's when you always go back to the job description just to make sure that everything is clearly defined and listed there. It's actually been proven that employee satisfaction actually increases when employees have a clear understanding of their expectations. So to do that, to create a job description, you'll want to establish the requirements and the essential functions of the job. So the requirements are the KSAs, the knowledge, skills, and abilities of the job. You'll also want to mention any physical characteristics the job might have. So this is going to help you down the road if you happen to get an accommodation request, right? Any environmental factors, and then any credentials or experience that are required. You definitely want to choose a consistent template. It's really easy to have, a lot of different hiring managers create their own job descriptions, and then all of a sudden you have 15 different templates. It's nice to just have one consistent template and that the hiring managers can use and build the job descriptions from there. You also want to make sure you have a signature line. This is something that's forgotten quite often. During the onboarding process, we always recommend that you have the new hires sign their job descriptions. This, again, is just, it's a two-way street. Make sure that they fully acknowledge that they've received the job description and that they understand the essential functions of the role. Right. Exempt versus non-exempt. So this is hourly versus salary, right? So the Fair Labor Standard Act is it makes sure that employees are all being paid minimum wage and that they are being paid overtime if they're eligible. So there's a couple different Department of Labor, DOL resources that you should definitely take a look at. So once you have that job description created, the next step is you'll want to go on to these Department of Labor sites and make sure that you are very clear on if that job description qualifies to be overtime exempt, or if that position is overtime eligible. So this is a very common claim that the DOL receives from employees, that they were not classified correctly, and employers will actually be responsible for paying all the back pay if it is actually proven that that employee was overtime eligible and they weren't receiving overtime. So it's very important, can be very costly. We come across these claims quite often. All right. So when you're ready to create your employee handbook, again, it's one of those things that might not seem necessary when you just have a couple of employees, but it's really important from the very beginning to get all of your policies just in one place. It'll just help, when you're ready to grow too. Make sure that you guys stay consistent and compliant along the way. So, you want your handbook to have the same voice that you have when you talk to your team members. You want it to sound truly like it's coming from you. It doesn't have to be this big, scary legal document that has all these, law references in it. It can sound like, you're talking to your team members. It's a good place to include your culture and your mission and your values as well. Again, just to make sure that all employees have received them and that they, understand. It's good time to communicate to employees what's expected of them, just kind of code of conducts. And then, it's just, you want to list all the policies in there so it can all be followed consistently. You also want to talk through your benefits. I know the second you receive an employee handbook, everyone just flips to the vacation page first things first, right? So you want to make sure that all your benefits are listed in there, and that it complies with federal and state laws. So you definitely want to use your resources here. There's absolutely no need to just sit down with a blank Word document and try to write a handbook. There's lots of different handbook creator tools out online. And I listed a couple of those in the resources slide too, so we can go over them. Yep. Here is a very wordy slide full of a handbook checklist. So it's probably pretty small right now, but these are just a ton of policies. This is how I start with a new client of mine that needs a handbook. We just kind of go through and start talking through these policies. So not all of them are required. There are definitely some federal and state required policies, but a lot of these, again, just help reflect the company culture. Good to talk about work-life balance, and if you're going to have any kind of social media policies or dress codes or anything along those lines, that'll help define your culture. Some things that you definitely do want to include are employment at will statements. So Nevada is a at will employer state, so that is important. You'll also want to make sure that you have a drug-free workplace policy in there. So 0 tolerance for being intoxicated, in any way, shape, or form while at work. Regardless, if you have a, pre-employment drug testing policy, you definitely still want a drug-free workplace policy. You also want a discrimination and harassment-free workplace policy, just to make sure that everyone is aware that you have absolutely 0 tolerance for any type of discrimination or harassment in the workplace. We'll talk about that a little bit more. All right, DEIA plus, diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility plus. So this is a really holistic approach to hiring and empowering and retaining a diverse workforce. So this is, you'll come across this quite often. This is probably the most requested training that we receive. So Tim Adioki, I always worry that I am not pronouncing that correctly. He is a trainer on DEIA plus. I definitely recommend writing down his name. He's got some great books out there, some great YouTubes. If you are interested in writing a DEIA plus policy, he's a great resource for you there. Kind of just to talk, couple different policies that you can get started with that really help make sure that diversity is top of mind when you are hiring is you could create an affirmative action plan. So this is where you will commit to interviewing a set percentage of underrepresented candidates for each open position. This is something that a lot of our clients like to do. They just like to right off the bat just say we are committed to at least interviewing X percent of underrepresented candidates, just to make sure that we're keeping diversity top of mind and that, just higher chances of just ending up with a diverse workforce. So some ideas there. Anti-harassment. So Nevada actually does not have a requirement for private sector employers to provide anti-harassment training. It is definitely recommended though, strongly recommended. So you definitely want a strong anti-harassment policy in your handbook. And then you do want to just have it be part of your culture that your team just goes through anti-harassment training. You can set, once a year. Doesn't have to be all the time, just to keep it kind of top of mind. If you do have California employees, California does require anti-harassment training for all companies with 5 or more employees. So, once you get a California employee, all the rules change. So something to keep in mind there too. So you definitely want to define harassment and then make it clear that you have an absolute zero tolerance policy. This will help, reassure people that they should feel safe at work. And you definitely want to offer a few different resources for employees to report harassment. You don't want it to always just go to one person, because if the employee doesn't feel comfortable going to that one person for whatever the scenario might be, you want to make sure that they have a couple different options of people that they can report harassment to. This is also why having a third-party HR is really great. Employees always feel comfortable calling a third-party HR, no relationships. So that's a really good perk of having a third-party HR department. I wanted to talk quickly about a couple policies that are not required. As definitely we encourage companies to have paid vacation leave, but it's actually not required in Nevada unless you have 50 employees. And your first 2 years of operation, you're actually not, even if you're over 50, you're still not required to have paid vacation leave. So definitely, I wouldn't say that if you want to be a competitive employer, you definitely want to offer some paid vacation and or sick leave, but it's not a requirement in Nevada. You're also not required to have paid holidays. And FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act. So this is for, people that are going to go out on maternity or paternity leave, or maybe they need a medical leave of any other reason. You're actually not required as a small employer under 50 to offer this. Again, it makes you, a nice competitive employer to have a good maternity or paternity leave, but just so you guys know, it's not fully required until you hit that 50 employee mark. And then pregnancy related leave. So this is an unpaid leave. Nevada, this is pretty new to Nevada. I believe it was 2019 that we officially got a pregnancy related leave requirement. So once you hit that 15 employee mark, that is when you are required to allow people to leave for pregnancy related reasons. And I wanted to talk through a couple of resources. So outsourcing is always an option. Again, no need to feel like you have to sit down in front of a blank Word document and write a handbook. Why recreate the wheel? Definitely use your resources. Society for Human Resource Management is a great option. You do have to pay to be a member, but that has pretty much every policy you could ever dream of there. And one that I wanted to mention, if you do have EPLI, Employment Practice Liability Insurance, oftentimes EPLI comes with a resource, like just an HR online resource. So you want to ask your broker if your EPLI insurance does come with, an online resource where you can just look up policies, and sometimes they even have a hotline where you can call an HR representative and talk. Oftentimes that's included in your EPLI insurance. So it's a good thing to kind of keep top of mind and ask.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today.